Welcome back, or welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast, the show where we get real about mental health and addiction. If you or someone you love is struggling, please reach out to me on any social media platform. At Recovering Out Loud Pod, you are no longer alone.
It's okay.
We meet some of the most interesting people in the world, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
I love this recovery thing.
Oh yeah.
Forget all the stories and the stuff, the shock factor, right? The wow factor. Forget all that.
The how low was your low kind of stuff. Yeah.
I fucking rolled down a hill naked and, took out 6 old people and everyone's just like, yeah, I can,
And then there'll be someone who like robbed a bank and you're like, okay, you win. So tell me about the pod. Tell me about the focus of the conversations you're trying to have. What is this project?
Great question. So I'll tell you when I started it, what the kind of goal was, and I'm trying to stay with that notion. I originally started this in my last treatment center. The reason I haven't seen you for a while, because I've been doing some more research last year. I'm coming up fucking 4 days of getting a year again.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
It's like,
I thought you were going to say I've got 4 days.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, that's a lot of time. That's like a year. Fuck yeah.
Way to go. I'm surprised you're doing this right now.
Yeah.
4 days. Okay.
You're like,
I'm surprised you can put a sentence
step
together.
one. What about step one?
Maybe.
So you did treatment up north. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, when I went in January of last year,
Yes.
Hit another rock bottom, but I was doing some more research. That's why I hadn't seen a lot of people for a while. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend it at all. But
you still want to live healthy. You still want to you did some research and you've decided
this side's better.
Stick with healthy.
Yeah, this side's better. I'm gonna stick with alive too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, seriously, like
there was no going back from that.
A lot of people, and I'm sure you can relate to this, shook hands with the devil, near death. If I don't know if I have one more relapse in me. I don't know if I know I have one relapse in me. I don't know if I have another recovery.
Okay.
And I love that. It's so true. So in treatment this past time, and I'm like, I love podcasts. I love talking to people. I'm going to do this thing, right? I didn't realize too is like, and not that it's a competition at all, but when I started doing it, I got into this. There's lots of recovery podcasts out there, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I didn't realize how many there were. But when I first thought of it, I was like, oh, this is a great idea. Like, no one's thought of this yet.
Right. No, dude, like
there's a lot of people.
You look up birdhouse making podcasts. Yeah. There's like a million of them.
There's
like it's a great medium. I have a podcast.
Oh
yeah. It's a men's group, and so what it's like, my partner calls it like a men's excellence group or a men's success group. But really what it turns out is there's guys in the US who are maybe obese, or they don't know how to meet girls, or they're broke, or they're just smoking pot all day and playing video games. And Wes and I, we meet with them every week and we talk about goals. We talk about healthy living. I share my story with addiction and recovery, like at least once per conversation, and so I love the medium of podcast, and I get so much out of the conversations, like an AA meeting, like a 12-step meeting, when you don't feel like doing it and you show up, you always come away feeling better. Yeah. So I love the medium. And also because recovery is such a voice-to-voice, person-to-person journey, right? Like reading a book, like your sponsor doesn't tell you to text people. He tells you to call somebody every day, right? And so, thank you for having me.
Which is a lot harder.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you coming down. And so just to finish my thought there, like that's amazing. I didn't know that. It's an easy way to access, information that you can feel sort of more personal, right? What I've noticed with podcasting that I like, podcasters that I like, or podcasts that I like, it's not the actual, I was thinking about this the other day. I spend a lot of time thinking about this, but I think I actually start to like the person.
Of course.
Right. You start to like Chris Williamson is an example. I don't know if you know Modern Wisdom.
Nope.
I'm a huge fan. I'm obsessed with it.
I'm more into birdhouse making podcasts, like I said. But you're locked in with him.
I'm gonna go look that up now after this. But it's him that I like.
Yeah.
You know, it's his thought patterns that I identify with. He's working on himself. His humor is the same as mine, and so he also happens to get really interesting guests on.
Yeah.
But when I listen, and he talks, I'm just like, oh yeah, fuck. Like I think like, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way, right? And I think it's, you know, that's how we're drawn in recovery too. I think to we kind of stick with people that
connection.
We see ourselves in them, or they say things that we're too scared to say sometimes, or they say things that we're feeling, that's recovery, right? What? I didn't know. What do you mean? Like, I'm not alone in that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that other people stayed up for days and saw things and, you know, psychosis and couldn't stop, whatever the thing might be. That's just off the top of my head right now. Because I since realized that a lot of people didn't realize that other people also experienced that, right? Because you think you're crazy, right, when you're coming in,
and you're so embarrassed about what you did, and the shame, and that's one of the pillars of the program again, is that you get to hear people say, I did the same thing or worse. I also never wanted to tell anyone. I wanted to bring that secret to my grave, and by telling and releasing that kind of burden, you know, life is so much better on the other side of that. Yeah, that's one of the major like inflection points, turning points in recovery that we go through.
Yeah, it opens the door for what else can I be honest about? Right? And I'll tell you in a high level way, because I talk about it a lot on here. But my relapse was keeping those things inside. That is like high level, full stop. I tell everybody every day.
That was the recipe that made the relapse possible. Started
with one little
lie or secret, or
I'm just gonna handle this over here, guys.
Shortcut.
You know, Tim, our friend Tim from Tuesday, always says he said this to me before I relapsed. I'll never forget it. I wish I listened, but you know, hindsight 2020, right? But it stuck with me. Is we went for coffee one day and he sits down and he goes, Anthony, he could tell I was starting to, you know, I think I had already relapsed at that point. Make sure one person in the world knows everything. One person. And I love that, right? And not like, as great as talking to God is and spirituality, and you have to bounce things off of other people. Right? You have to, and that's not, it's true. Like one person, make sure they know every single idea, secret, plan. You know, for me, it was like, I'm going to get back into steroids and fix my ADHD. And then it spiraled down there. But that's what I tell people all the time. And today I realize that I have an experience that people in recovery might need to hear with long-term recovery, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I never thought I could. I never thought I would relapse ever.
Right. And then another thing we never think is that we'll be on the giving end of wisdom in this thing, because we come in so desperate and multiple relapses, and we think we're just here to get medicated, but it's a magical program in that we get to give back, or giving back is one of the foundational ideas of it. Giving it away, we call it. But it's not hard for you to be like to light the path of recovery for people. Yeah,
it's a good point though. You do come in, you're like, how can I help anybody? I don't have anything. And I mean, at first,
I'm a bum.
A lot of people would agree with that. You don't really have much to offer at first.
Yeah.
just listen for a bit.
Yeah, listening, and then. But that's also a skill. Like what I love about 12-step is that now that I don't have the urge to drink every single day, I get to reflect on my other flaws or attributes, and learning to listen. That's a skill that I get to practice in AA. It's just one of the being an adult skills that I get to practice. Being nice, not dumping all my drama on somebody else. Cleaning up, turning off the lights when you leave the room, like showing up on time, like showing up on time. I don't know if you know anyone in active addiction who is really good at showing up on time to stuff. No,
it doesn't go hand in hand.
No. So that is like a kind of normal grown-up behavior that we get to practice in recovery. And that is a non-alcohol or drug benefit of recovery. that kind of like ripples into our broader life.
The thing about listening too is, ever since I started this podcast, God, that's a skill that you have to sharpen too, right? And I agree 100%. It's not listening to talk either. It's listening to actually take in that information, right?
Like the difference between hearing and listening, or whatever people talk
I love
about.
that. I love that. Hearing and listening is like actually listening, feeling what they're feeling, or interpreting what they're saying. It's a beautiful thing, man. So why don't let's do this. I usually get people to tell sort of a little bit about their story. I guess from a high level, like how did you know, what brought you to your knees the moment? What did alcohol and drugs do for you? How did you get to that moment of this is enough, wave the white flag, and then what stuck? How did your recovery stick after that?
Well, drinking and partying was part of my strong personal brand since I was like 13 years old. I was so insecure, and you know how, like, guys like you and I, like, we are walking white privilege, male, Christian, heterosexual, able-bodied, you know, and yet we think we're skinny or ugly or losers or not good enough, right? I don't know how we get programmed with these ideas, but then when we start drinking and we can be the life of the party, or we can be the wildest person in the room, that gives us a kind of like some armor against those feelings, right? So I was the life of the party. I'm a fun, kind, loving guy, and mostly when I was drunk, that would be kind of heightened. You know how some people get really dark when they drink, or violent or angry. That wasn't me 90% of the time. And but it was becoming a problem. Like, wasn't able to hold down work. I got married, and it was clear to my girlfriend and then wife that I was drinking too much. I was drinking faster than everyone else, and before everyone else, and later than everyone else, right? And so at some point, I remember it as like, at some point she said, hey, you could either keep drinking or you can keep being married. And so I picked keep being married. And so I was able to stop drinking. And I don't think, it's not like I never took a drink from that day on, but I think I had taken breaks from drinking for weeks or months at a time. But that was about 11 years ago. And I told myself that I don't have a brake pedal when it comes to alcohol. I can accelerate, I can drink more, but I can't slow down and stop. So, but I also told myself, so that was wise, but I also told myself I have a brake pedal when it comes to everything else. So I could leave pot or Coke in the like shoebox in the closet and maybe do it once a month, you know? But you know how this movie ends. Like, eventually my need to escape my fear and insecurity that I was medicating with alcohol, I found something else to medicate it. I didn't address that, and I just found something else to medicate it. So I became, like, from doing cocaine at bars and nightclubs, I ended up doing it every day from morning till night, and just a mess of shame, right? Like I would, and there's something about that drug in particular that's like, why do I do this? I don't want to do this. 5 minutes later, you do it. Like, the craving is so strong, right? Yeah. So the difference between alcohol and cocaine for me is that I knew I wanted to stop with cocaine and that I could not stop. Whereas with alcohol, I wanted to stop, and so I stopped, right? But I mean, I was in a spiral of years telling myself, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do half a gram, the next day a quarter gram. By the day 3, I'm going to be totally done. Or, you know, and I carried around like a secret. I stole money, or kind of like hid money or whatever to fund my habit. Stole jewelry from my wife, stole jewelry from my mom. And I'm okay. I'm at peace with that now. Stole money from my dad's wallet when he was getting cancer treatments. And have been able to make amends and apologize for that, which was a really hardest / best part of 12-step. So I think that's the most important part for today, which is with alcohol, I when I wanted to quit, I could. With cocaine, when I wanted to, I could not stop. I had to get caught. I had to get threatened with divorce. I had to get on a Narcotics Anonymous meeting right away. my wife marched me down to my doctor. He's like, let's have a holistic approach where you go to AA and you go to some addictions doctor and you go to your therapist and see like what medication you're not doing correctly. The holistic approach that was required when it came time to getting fully clean from alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think we're a lot alike in that sense where, alcohol was never really, I call myself an alcoholic today.
Same.
And so that's what I want to get your opinion on that. When you hear somebody come in, because I was like you, I could kind of put alcohol down. It was always there, but I never burned the house down with alcohol. I never got threatened divorce or same thing.
You weren't a bum alcohol in the gutter, one of those kind of cliches.
Like it was cocaine. That was the thing that I couldn't see myself living without, and all stimulants really. It ended by the end of it, like last relapse, it was meth, the fake Adderall pills. That was my real.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, that took me down because there was, anyways. So when you hear someone come in, because I'm sure you do, and they say, yeah, I got the drug thing under control. Alcohol, I'm not really an alcoholic. Like what was the turning point for you to make that distinction? I am an alcoholic as well as an addict.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is answering your question, but I remember having been alcohol-free 5 years and getting a job in Toronto now. Like we discussed on the way down here, I'm a creative, so I sell art for a living. And this was the first time. And so now being a independent, like freelance art dealer is like the easiest way to just drink and drug all the time and not be accountable to anyone, right? So when I finally got a job at a retail store selling art in Toronto, not drinking alcohol is one of like the great kind of like qualities and upsides of hiring me, right? Never hungover, etc. And I would, celebrate with Coke occasionally. But what I discovered is that my insecurity expressed itself, particularly with me, was the stress of working all day. I started coking on the weekdays. And then I got to the point where I coked from the moment I got home from work because I was afraid of what I had done that day, and I was afraid that I was going to get fired tomorrow. So, in other words, like I was afraid I did something fireable today. In the past, we can't control the past, and I was afraid that I was going to get fired tomorrow in the future. We can't control the future, and so in the present, I just spent it medicating this fear with Coke. And so because alcohol is so permissive in our culture, people can go to the pub every day and not be called a problem drinker in like the wider culture to most people. Yeah. But if you're doing Coke, like, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, right? Like from the moment, like at 5:01, the moment you're done work every day, that is not socially acceptable. We don't have commercials on TV about that. We don't there aren't Bud Light commercials about that. I knew something was wrong. But again, like there's something about addiction or the kind of people who are wired for addiction that asking for help was not an option, right? Stopping was impossible. So there were times when I did Coke at work, and then after I got fired, I the starting line for when I would start got like earlier and earlier, right? And I remember it was the World Cup of soccer. I believe it was the one that was hosted in Russia. And so my brother and I, we were watching a like Russia broadcast, right? So it would have been noon Toronto time. And I was like, look, it's too early to start doing Coke. And he's like, no, take it out. So I remember that was like, that was the first time I'd ever done it before noon. And so with Coke, it was just a lot easier for me to compare myself to the broader culture and say, this is not normal.
Yeah. So then, was it hard for you to quit drinking then altogether after you got the Coke settled, or?
No. So I, just to correct the record, I quit drinking 11 years ago, and I did Coke alcohol free.
Wow.
For all that time.
Yeah, okay. That's not typical, I would
Correct.
say, right?
Yeah.
Like
Although I mean, I do find I've found similar people in recovery, and also at the end of my journey, I was doing whatever I could get my hands on, except alcohol. For some reason, I was such a snob about alcohol. I don't drink. Ray does not drink. So,
Meanwhile,
but I was doing coke.
Yeah.
Anytime I was in front of someone's medicine cabinet.
You're doing coke to watch soccer, which I can relate to that.
And don't tell me I'm the only person who does that. You know. And so and then at the end of it, I'd be like smoking weed and just trying whatever's in your medicine cabinet or grandma's medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
So so I know for sure now that I was trying to numb out. I was trying to run away. I was trying to escape. And in order for me to live healthy, it's not a prison sentence. In order for me to live a complete life, I have to set aside anything that's a form of unhealthy escape.
Yeah. You said it really well. It's yesterday. I'm always living in yesterday or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. And the present moment for an addict, but for me especially, I can only speak for myself, is so unbearable that I need outside things to escape it, to disappear. Right. So you come in, what was the moment like where your last drunk or your last 30 days, I guess, in addiction? I mean, you sort of described it, but what was the moment that finally got you over to the side of sobriety?
Well, the actual mechanics of the last moment, it was very like Three Stooges. Okay. So my wife and I are arguing over something, and the cat runs across the table and knocks over like a glass and breaks on the floor. And my wife picks up a piece of glass and cuts her finger. She's like, "God damn it." And I'm like, "God damn it, cat." And I take my phone and I throw it at the cat. It hits the ground, and the protective case of the iPhone pops off. And right in there was where I used to keep my little baggies of Coke. So the baggie flies out in front of my wife, and she was like, "I knew it. I knew there was something off with you," because I had been confronted by her friends a year before and urged to quit, and I had quit for 2 weeks. I managed to quit for 2 weeks, and like I have so much compassion for people who are at the beginning of their journey now, because I remember when I tried to quit that 12 months before, how hard impossible the first minute was, how hard the first hour was, what a challenge first day was, and how I white knuckled the first week. But then the second week's easier, and our emotions will go up and down. But really, when you are in withdrawal from one of the most powerful substances God ever created, like it is the heroic phase of the recovery. That's what I call it. So that's after promising I quit, really only lasting 2 weeks, and then going back to cooking every day for the next 365 minus 14, which is, whatever it is, 351 days. That is what happened when I finally got caught. And like I said, for that last year, after my wife and her friends kind of confronted me and asked me to quit, that last year I wanted to, but could not. So I was relieved when she found me, when I got caught, when I got caught for all that lying, because I was carrying an unbearable weight of shame, and like I was a prisoner to the drug. Right.
I can relate to that so much. I mean, and you said that off the top too, is like, I need to get caught to make change.
Yes.
Because it's hard to ask for help, I find too. And so if I look back on, a lot of my moments, even when I was 23 and when I first went to rehab, it was getting caught, by my parents or by my friends, and my friend telling my parents, "Hey, this is, you might want to look at this. Like, he's worse than all of us, you know, and he's using every day, same thing, right? And it was the cocaine that brought me down. But yeah, I have to be brought to my knees and I have to be embarrassed. But I like what you said too, is that unbearable weight, right? Where it's like, you finally admit to something or you get caught and it's like, I don't have to lie about this anymore.
I'm not on the run anymore.
Spinning a story and a web of stories and keeping
to
up
everyone.
With it. Yeah.
Lying becomes the only thing we do, where it's, other than quickly remembering what the last lie we told the person, you know, all we do is spin lies, and we lie for no reason. We lie when we're crossing the border. We'll lie when we're having a random conversation with the grocery, you know, bagger, and like, like.
Why do you think that is? Because I know I can relate to it too.
Gosh, man, that's a deep one. We drink and drug to nurse an insecurity or shame or fear. And I suppose when we are high or drunk, we don't feel like ourselves. We don't have that terrible curse of feeling like ourselves. We get to kind of feel like somebody else. And on Halloween, when we're in a costume, we're kind of liberated when we're in a costume in Halloween. We get to act how we want, because none of our reputational baggage comes with us. So I think as an addict, we lie because we're not good enough. You know, my story's not good enough to tell you what's really going on. I'm not good enough to actually be with you. So I lie in order to be wanted. That's just what came to my mind right there.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I always find it interesting, because when you said lying about things that don't really matter or stupid shit, it's like, yeah, I do that too. And I spend a lot of time reflecting. You know, I think recovery in of itself is self-searching journey. You know, why do I do things? This introspective journey, self-searching, self-appraisal, honest self-appraisal. Like, hey, why am I doing that? Why does this thought keep coming up? And I guess for me, I had never thought about it that way. Is like, maybe my version of the truth, or the truth itself, isn't good enough. I want you to like. It's
one part of it. Truth. Now, having said that, first of all, I know you said like you grew up thinking you were ugly. Did you not say that?
It was more so body dysmorphia.
Body dysmorphia,
yeah,
which is retarded.
Yeah,
because you won the genetic lottery, obviously, and so did I. Right. And then another kind of lying that I became a champion at is, and given the reflection we do, I've learned to figure it out, is in AA we learn that promising or apologizing for something with no intention or ability to change is a kind of a lying, or it's a kind of dishonesty.
Yeah.
You get caught stealing, and that's the difference between apologizing and making amends. You get caught drinking, you apologize because you're hungover and you're embarrassed.
You want that feeling to just go away, to stop. Yeah. That embarrassment, that shame.
So that embarrassment, that fear. And so, like, why do we lie when we get pulled over? Because we're trying to just get out of the jam as quickly as possible, right? It's kind of an emergency.
Deflect attention.
Yeah, it's an emergency response. And so there's something about when we're in active addiction that, you know, everything is an emergency response. You could get caught at any moment, right? So the lie is just the easiest way to think of what's the fastest way to diffuse this situation, and then do that.
Or deflect. It's like I'm holding off like a shield, and I'm just like, no, back to you. Get the attention back to you, right?
Right.
No, it's 100% true. I think, you know, I was always taught by a therapist that I had, that whenever I told those little white lies, to like at some point go back and be like, hey, you know, I lied there, you know, and just laugh about it.
Remember that thing where it wasn't necessarily a lie? I lied there.
Yeah. And I told you I only had 6 parking tickets in my life, right? I've actually had 10. It was like, I think a lot of,
and that's not a deal breaker.
I know,
but it's for
people
some
are going to
reason
accept you, right? It's never
for
a deal
some
breaker.
reason. It's that is, we reach for that button first. Like, it feels safe to reach for that button.
I think a lot of the time too is like, I want you to, for me, it's what comes to my mind when I think of why do we lie, at least right now, because I think it does change and it's different for everybody, is people pleasing.
Sure.
I don't think you're going to like the story as much as, unless I finesse it a little bit or mold it into what I think you want me to be, right? What I want to be, or what I think I want you to me to be, right?
You stopped making sense a little while ago. But something I do.
Where are we again?
That's something I do that's just like that is right now. So I'm not lying about whether I'm high or not, and I'm not lying pathologically like I used to in active addiction, but I find myself double booking myself and even triple booking myself sometimes. And if I think about my whole life, it's because I was afraid to disappoint the person by saying no. You know?
Yeah. You
that people pleasing I can relate
I'm
to.
happy you brought that up, because one of my questions was going to be, and this is the shit I really like talking about, is like, what are you struggling with today? One of the things, and I got reminded of this the other day at a recovery space that I was at. Guy had a long time in recovery, told his story, great message, and this happens quite a bit. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because I think that message is important for people to hear. I was fucked up. I did things this way. I followed direction. Now I'm not as fucked up. Where my problem is, like, I want to hear what you're fucking struggling with, man. Today, yesterday. I want to hear about the fucking taxi driver you just told to fuck off and, beat up or cut off, or
give me something real.
Give me something. Because that's what I need to hear, man. Like, I don't need to hear how great recovery is, because it can be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Today, for me, it's great. It's not perfect. It never is. I want to hear about what you're struggling with. So, you mentioned this double booking thing and like not being able to say no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How are you working on that? And I guess what else are you sort of struggling with off that topic?
Bro, I was like on a FaceTime call with my girlfriend walking up Bathurst when you texted me like 5 minutes before our scheduled time. And you were like, there's parking in the back. And I was like, oh my God. Duh. I mean, because we were
just so everyone knows, Bathurst is not near here.
Oh my God. So thank God.
You forgot. That's amazing.
I was like, yo, traffic is tough. 10 minutes away or whatever.
You got here fast, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was like I was lucky. I activated undisciplined behavior I struggle with. I'm trying to lose some weight for travel. Not that I need to. For those of you just listening, I've got, rock solid 6-pack. But undisciplined eating, undisciplined behavior is hard for me. I can't have the Uber app on my phone, or else I'll just Uber.
Oh, Uber Eats. Yeah.
I won't. No, yeah. Uber Eats and the Uber transportation.
Where do you go?
Well, I should be driving my car or taking the streetcar or walking.
And you'd rather Uber?
No, I don't have the Uber app for that reason.
Okay.
So just to like kind of dial it back a few minutes, I'm not perfect. Okay.
Right.
And so there's if for you it might be Uber Eats, where you might have a fridge full of leafy greens, but you're just gonna Uber Eats junk food. I can relate to that too. Not only is McDonald's unhealthy, but to just lie in bed and have someone else bring it to your front door is doubly unhealthy. Yeah. So it really is. It was the Uber Eats and the Uber. Anyway, so I don't have the app at all, and I was able to turn it on today to get here quickly.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
What I struggle with today is that I don't have as much money as I want. I don't have a career that I want. I'm doing a lot of I wouldn't call them odd jobs, but I do a lot of kind of I do a lot of informal work, and I'm able to put together financial stability for myself, which is a huge first step. But yeah, like I've got a nice old vintage car. I got no business driving. I should be like it's in the shop. I don't know how I'm going to pay for that. I'm riding the TDC these days, and when the TDC is early and I jump on there and I'm like Jason Bourne cutting through the city, I'm very happy. When it's late or I miss it, I really struggle with emotional balance.
Yeah, regulation.
You know? So screaming an obscenity at the top of my lungs, not at somebody, but just at the world, you know? And so that is something that I'm currently struggling with on almost a daily basis, is keeping my sanity on public transit. And I think it's linked to this idea of powerlessness and control, or lack of control, that comes up over and over again in recovery, where when I have a vehicle, I'm in control of when I enter it and don't. Not so with the bus. Even though just navigating the city in a car, you are also at the mercy of however the traffic is.
Construction.
Yeah. So I found that, I don't know how practical it is, but if I give myself an hour to get somewhere, no matter where I'm going, I don't drive dangerously. I drive slow, and I'm not offended if I have to go around somebody or merge because of construction.
It changes the whole complexion outlook on your day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you afford yourself enough time. I had a counselor at that rehab that I was just talking about always mention that. He goes, every time I go anywhere ever, I purposely leave 15 minutes of a security gap, of a buffer.
I'm not there yet.
Right. I know, neither am I. He's a spiritual
That's guru,
giant. Yeah.
That's guru.
He's not an addict himself. He's like a genius, that guy. And but it's true. He's like, I'm everywhere I go, I'm 15 minutes early, because I've spent so much time being late and at the mercy of whatever happens on the 401.
Yeah.
Right?
Unpredictable.
Or the 400.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting too, because I think this illusion of control is what kind of everybody in addiction, at least myself, strives for. Like if I could just turn the dial a little bit towards my direction, if you would just do things the way I want you to do them, right? Like, Ray, did you not get the script? Right, that for life, that you know what I mean? It's
you're Anthony's world. We're living Anthony's world,
and
here.
I think a lot of people, when they come in, can relate to that, even in recovery without substances, because you come in here and you're so used to this illusory freedom, this control that we have. I don't like this thought. I'm going to do a line. You know what do you mean? I know how to fix this. Boom, and it does. That's the problem with drugs, is they work.
What do you call it? Like eject?
Yeah. I love that. It's almost a chemical eject button.
Yeah.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking get out of here.
But the thing is, Anthony, that we become dependent on that eject button, so that the littlest thing, the most minor inconvenience, will have us ejecting, and it gets to the point where nothing at all can be going wrong, and we're ejecting. Yeah. Right.
Which just isn't life. It's not. No. It's not sustainable.
No, it's not. And it's also obviously it's not healthy, but it's also becomes not even enjoyable for the person who's doing it. Right. I'm sure you weren't loving every second of your rock bottom. No. You're a prisoner of it, right?
That's the best way to put it. And so that's why I always think cravings are hilarious, right? I laugh at them every single time once I get through them and whatever. Yeah. I mean, as of today, much more few and far between. Yeah. But my first, I would say 3 months for sure, like coming back again, right? Because, I had 7 years before that. You saw me when I came in and relapsed, right? You were at that place, that group where I broke down in front of everybody. It had been a while since I had like early recovery, really, right? Like early sustained recovery, because I was coming in and out for a while. Anyways, that first 3 months, I would say, and I tell people this openly, is I was living at a sober house, thank God. I followed direction. I would say that first 3 months, probably every single day, the thought of doing cocaine came into my mind. Yeah. And it was like so overwhelming, where no amount of thinking could get out of it. And so what was I told? Action. Right? Call my mentor, call people in recovery. And I did that against my better judgment, because I didn't, like you said, like it's not easy. It's not enjoyable, right? To pick up this phone weighs 1,000 pounds sometimes, right? But every time I did, I said, hey, I'm thinking about Coke today. Yeah, that's all I wanted to really, and like, that's it. The conversation goes on from there. I think that's that's what a lot of people, at least I missed in the beginning of sobriety, is making that connection between when you're spinning out, talking about it.
Well, I can tell you, Anthony, I can be around alcohol in any context and not be triggered, really. I'm not sure if I can still be around a pile of Coke. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I used to have a joke, like, if Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen asked me to, like, come back and do Coke with them, I probably wouldn't be able to say no. Man, the reality is, if a ham sandwich asked me to come back and do Coke with him, I couldn't say no. So I still, and I'm not always comfortable with the, I guess I'll be an addict for the rest of my life kind of language that some people use. But yeah, I'm not like, I'm okay with saying, like, for those who are recovered from heroin, we don't ask them to be in front of heroin, or we don't expect that they can be, stay safe around heroin, right? I imagine. And that's the same for me. So, like, I still remember what, like, scientifically exact escape it was to do that drug. And
heroin?
No,
cocaine,
Coke, yeah.
I've done heroin, and it sucks.
Yeah, so, like, and again,
it's pretty good. No.
My behavior was so junky, I cannot claim to be a drug snob, even though cokeheads are such drug snobs.
Yeah, I know.
Like crack, I would never do crack.
Yeah. Or meth.
Never.
You're a fucking tweaker, dude.
Never.
Yeah.
But all
It's
day
all
and
the
all
same
night,
shit.
and, like, nosebleeds. Of course.
It's
yeah.
all the same.
Well,
everywhere you go.
Oh my God,
it's all the
allergies.
same shit.
Yeah. No, that's something I've come to appreciate in recovery, is that it doesn't really matter what kind of drug you do. We can all relate to the being brought to our knees and the struggle of recovery. Something else that I'm grateful for in recovery is that I understand cravings in general better. Because I still, we call it addict behavior, but I'm like a total cokehead when it comes to pizza, popcorn, chips, M&Ms, attractive young women. Like, I will just throw away my future and think of, how can I hoard this? How can I get more of this than I'm entitled to? You know, with people, it's kind of, that would be an affair, or that would be flirting with somebody. With pizza, for example, if there's 3 people and 4 pieces of pizza, I mean, my brain goes cokehead, where it's like, I need to eat the first one so fast so that, I can claim I can get that second piece before anyone.
Yeah.
Same with popcorn or chips. I can't really put one piece of popcorn and chip in my mouth. I have to get, like, the maximum pile in my hand, and then open my mouth as big as I can.
It's the same reason when you go to, like, recovery meetings and people are spilling coffee all over the fucking place, right?
Yeah.
Because we fill up the coffee cup
right
to the top, and it's like, how can I get the maximum amount of coffee?
What if
in
this
one
is
sitting?
my last coffee ever?
It's actually a good way to live, in that state of mind, where this could be my last coffee.
Well, I mean,
ever.
and so, like, everything we're talking about today, and then we get to, like, the final chapter is, like, there's a healthy way to do things and an unhealthy way to do things. There's a healthy reason for doing things, and there's an unhealthy reason for doing things, right? So, like, being an asshole and yelling over, like, the TDC being late, unhealthy. Yelling when your feelings are really hurt by somebody, or someone's being mean to your child or something, healthy, right? And so I try to look at the world like that now, and it's a less judgmental way of looking at the world. It's not right and wrong, right? You're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong, or what he's doing is wrong. I enjoy, on my best days, I enjoy looking at the world through the lens of, is it healthy or unhealthy? Because there's a lot more nuance, and there's a lot more room to maneuver when I look at the world like that.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, the defects of character. A lot of people didn't like that terminology.
I don't.
You're one of those people? Yeah.
I'm one of those people that
what do you prefer?
I don't know, but keep going.
I think just, it's important to know, for me, what keeps coming up, right? And so I can label it.
Yeah.
Because then I'm less harsh on myself. Then I can change it going forward.
Yeah.
I think when you get sober, the space between emotion and behavior gets greater and greater, right? Because there's always a space, right? TTC bus driver is late and then doesn't seem to care or apologize, right? Something like he should be apologizing to me.
He owes
right?
you an apology. Doesn't he know that I'm a prince?
Meanwhile, he just fucking blew his tire on the 401 and waited 3 hours, right? We don't think like that. The gap between I'm going to fucking rip this guy's head off, like I'm upset and angry and I'm going to say something to this guy gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
When I'm more emotionally regulated, my nervous system is more regulated. And how do I do that? Well, recovery is a practice, right? And I'm fucking not perfect either. I lose it all the time on people or things. But what I can do now is sort of recognize that I'm having that thing. For me lately, what is it lately? I get really judgy when I see somebody do something and I immediately resent. It comes down to resentments, right? It always comes down to, that's the thing that makes us relapse. When I relapsed this last time, I resented myself. I was resenting myself for like having these, and I wasn't telling anyone about it. I'll see somebody in my elevator. This is coming to my head right now that has like a Rolex style watch.
Yep.
And immediately I'm like, this fucking guy, like top of the world, eh? Must be not, and it's because of my insecurity with the money thing.
Yeah. As if he doesn't look at you and think the same thing, right? No, dude, this is absolutely relatable. Go. And so you don't rip his head off.
I don't.
You don't attack him. But what behavior do you do that you regret?
Great question. And that's it's this self-deprecating.
Yeah.
You fucking punching yourself in the face.
That should have been me.
Yeah, or just how dare him not hold the elevator for that lady, or you know what I mean? Just like immediately. And then it's like, I don't even know what's the behavior. It's like, I just resentment in my chest.
How I've had it explained,
or you take it out on somebody else going forward.
How I've explained it to me is like, in that scenario, it would be like, look at him. He's such a prick. He's so entitled. He works on Bay Street. He went to private school. Someone ought to teach him a lesson. I'm going to teach him a lesson. Wait, I'll probably lose because I suck. And so it rotates from I'm going to attack him,
hurt him,
to I'm hurting myself, right? Like, and that's where it always, and that's where, like, I'm going to rob a bank, or I'm going to shoot the prime minister, or I'm going to, shoot the athlete who lost the game for me. It eventually rotates to I'm worthless, I'm a bum. I could never even do that, right? And so that's how that cycle works for me. It happened to me, it might have been 2 days ago, where I was picking up skis from my boss that had been like tuned and waxed at Sporting Life. Now, I should have known going to Sporting Life that this is the preppy white boy, preppy white boy, like heaven. And so I should have known that my feelings of inadequacy would be triggered there. And there was a guy, again, same thing. Like, look at me, I was wearing a vest. I basically looked the same as this guy. But to me, he had it so easy. He never had to work for anything in his life.
This story you just
he went
right?
to UCC, the prestigious boys' school. He went to Bay Street. And the deal was that we were both at Sporting Life 15 minutes before closing, and everyone was trying to rush to get their stuff done. And I arrived slightly before him, and it was kind of like, is he in line? Is he not? And to me, it was like, this motherfucker is going, can I curse? Is that okay?
Yeah.
This motherfucker is going to bud the line because he's so entitled.
Drives a BMW.
Yeah. And I am just gonna and I just stood like kind of like a brick house with the executioner face. And so did I make a scene? No. But so I was able to get a space between the thought and the unhealthy reaction.
Yeah.
Now, what we're the next level of sobriety is trying to get some space between the thought and the feeling, the anger, the I'm not good enough. So and just that internal dialogue, that inner critic, inner critic.
Yeah.
So I think that the next level up, and the final boss on the next level is getting space between you and that inner critic.
And it's also like, I'm really angry right now. That's funny. And you just kind of watch the anger go by.
That's
right?
the Bruce Lee level.
Yeah, that's like, it's, and
it's a leaf floating on the pond.
I'm sure you've had moments like that though, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had moments in my recovery where I'm like, I'm just kind of watching myself be a jackass in my own head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I really want to fucking freak out right now. And I'm just like, crazy.
I'll tell you the my favorite moment was in recovery, and maybe this will be the last story I tell. Are we Joe Rogan rules? Do we go 4 hours here?
No.
Okay.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah.
You haven't rented the studio that long? Okay. I did. This was outside of recovery. I went to a kind of inner child retreat, or like a meditation retreat, where we forgave our parents for abandoning us. Like, we just looked at shame from like what we've done wrong, all the way to that first time where you were crying in the crib and your parents left you there in order to teach you how to like sleep training. Yeah. And you learned that you're not good enough for their love, right? So we analyzed shame and the inner critic all the way down to that moment, like when we were tiny babies. And then we built it up again and forgave ourselves and tried to repair it. And so I came out of this meditation retreat. Of course, it was in California, right? I didn't have my phone. And I got in the plane, and I was like, hey, anything interesting happened last week? And the guy next to me is like, you didn't hear about Philip Seymour Hoffman ODing? You didn't hear about the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl? I was like, no, I've been without my phone at a meditation retreat. And he said, oh, I'm so jealous. I go to an art fair, which is like a big convention hall with booths where people sell $1 million paintings, but it could be like the plunger convention. It just looks the same. A guy comes into the snack bar and sneaks past everyone, goes right up to the front. And I tap him on the shoulder, and I'm like, no, you're putting on the red Rambo bandana at this point, right? And this guy's like, I tap him on the shoulder, so I'm sorry, there's a line. And he's like, oh, well, I'm here now. And so I might have asked him one more time, but then I said, fine, fuck you. And just stood there and said, fuck you. And he turned around, and he didn't like slap me in the face or punch me in the face, but it was somewhere like in between. And so he just struck me right in the face in front of everyone.
Wow.
And I just stood there. And I stood there like, and I didn't even flinch. And everyone's like, and so that was
waiting for you to just like get something to happen, right?
Or how about lose my cool?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Or no, I did not move. And I just kept looking at him. And oh man, I haven't been that like elite Zen level. That's like SEAL Team 6
It
Zen.
is like standing up.
People came up to me and they're like, bro, how did you like, someone actually asked me, and I said, I just came back. Like I said the most obnoxious thing.
Oh, it's how I am.
No, worse. I just finished a meditation retreat in California. But I think that I'm glad we had this conversation today, because I'm glad I was able to remind myself of that success story where I actually lived that cliche where like true serenity is being in an argument, knowing you're right, knowing you're correct, and just not like fighting to the death over it, just walking away.
Yeah.
That's true serenity.
Yeah, it is. Being the bigger man, not acting on your emotions, right? Anger comes up. I don't need to become an angry guy, right?
No. Like mastery, like self-mastery, for me is difficult enough that I can spend the rest of my life just working on self-mastery and not being master of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Or sheriff of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's my problem, right? Yeah, we got a few more minutes. So.
Okay, you let me know.
I was going to ask you too, do you do the thing where I have this thing where when that does happen, the judging or the story spinning of this guy, and you know what? It's usually not, you're right though. It's usually not just somebody standing there that I'm like, look at this motherfucker. He's usually done something that I think is wrong.
You've decided he's about to do something.
That. But it's like for the guy that was in the elevator that's jumping him, and because this happens all the time to me, but the guy that recently, he didn't I was like dragging something and he didn't like help me with it. Right. So it's like, he's not living according to my script.
He wasn't the world's greatest Boy Scout.
Exactly.
In that moment, on that day.
And so then it triggers all this. And then I'm judging and I'm doing this. Do you do the thing too, where you start having arguments in your head with him? Like, like if he says this, I'm going to say this. And then
it's all I do, man.
Okay.
It's all I do.
If we sound fucking crazy right now, like that's,
no, I don't know. I don't. And I think that people in recovery from addiction and who don't have addiction issues, I'm certain they can relate to this. Where there's, and it's like, it's totally relatable when there's unfinished business for people out there with their dad, with their ex, and they get into those, like, thinking of those devastating one-liners they could say.
I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him with this.
And you just, in the movie in your mind, you're Clint Eastwood, and I mean, we won't call that the healthy version, but there's an even more unhealthy version where we get into these imagined arguments with people where resentments haven't been brewing, like over like family disagreements or whatever. These are random people that come on the subway, on the train, and on the road in front of you. Oh yeah. So like driving a car, you don't start getting into like a revenge fantasy with someone who like cuts you off. Or even if you think someone's about to cut you off, or you see someone who changes lanes without
signaling.
Yeah. As it turns out, Anthony, like what helps for me is like when someone does that, when they swerve or change lanes, I say, I sometimes do that because chances are I've done that like on the same commute, just like 5 minutes earlier. Yeah. I'm not perfect. And what we do in those moments is we judge those other people on their worst moment, right? Or we guess what their worst moment is, and then we judge them on that. And you said recovery is a practice, bro. Everything is a practice. Being romantic is a practice. Being hot is a practice. Things you think you had to be born with, no, everything's a practice. And not being judgmental, not getting in imagined fights, like everything else, is a practice. And so the good news is you're not cursed to have these horror movies playing in your head all the time. The bad news is it is a practice and it takes action.
Yeah, love it. Well said. Let's end with this. If you could say something to yourself in early recovery, what do you think you would say?
Wow. I would say, the cliches are true. One day at a time. And your only job is staying healthy today. You will continue to worry about your credit rating, your job, your relationships, whether people think you're rich or not, whether people think you're bald or not. Just stay healthy just for today. And because Anthony, I want that early recovery Ray to live. I'm 48. I want him to live to 98. That's another 50 years. And so we can take this thing slow. 50 years is a long time to score all those cash and prizes. Stay healthy right now, just for today. I would love it if that Ray got a sponsor, got a home group, did service. But look, if he can just get to a meeting today, and stay healthy today, that's all he actually has to do, is just stay healthy today.
Love it. Well said, Ray. Thanks so much for coming down, buddy.
Hell yes, dude. I appreciate you. Give me a hug.
I rarely get away with it.
Thanks for listening. Please help us grow the channel and like, share, and subscribe for more content. The discussions and stories shared on this podcast are for informational and motivational purposes only. This content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, addiction treatment, or therapy. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please consult a licensed physician, addiction specialist, or mental health professional. You are no longer alone.